Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Jamie Plays. We're again taking a look at Star Trek New Horizons Into the Mirror Darkly, total conversion mod for Stellaris. And if you haven't watched the previous episodes, a lot happened in the last one. So we finished the Zindi event 2 episodes ago, so episode 3. Then in episode 4, we saw both the embassy bombing and the Forge event series, and we also saw the Terra Prime Rebellion event that happened at the same time, so a lot going on. We also met the Zenkethi, and the Trill decided that they absolutely hate us, even though they are very similar to us in most respects. So yeah, so this episode I'm hoping that over the course of the next 40-45 minutes or so, we will form the Federation, and yeah, see where things take us from there.
Construction complete.
So at the moment, I am upgrading all my ships,
Anomaly
making sure...
detected.
Anomaly. The debris field which X758 is part of roils and swirls under the influence of unknown forces. We're going to research this, even though it will take quite a long time. So what I'm trying to do right now is kind of to modernize my fleet. So under the in the previous episode, a lot of my ships were destroyed by Terra Prime, and it was really my starbase that kind of successfully defended Earth and allowed me to survive and not be forced to become the Terran Empire, or be conquered by the Terran Empire. So what I'm trying to do now is replace a lot of my Emmet-class vessels with Intrepid-class vessels. Oh, and the Orion Trade Union has just insulted me, so that's always fun. So back to my ships. The reason I'm doing that is because the Emmet class is the first ship that you have when you first start the game in 2150, and they go out of I was about to say go out of fashion, but that's obviously absolutely the wrong way to phrase it. So in one of the mechanics in Star Trek New Horizons is this idea of retiring ships when they become too technologically inferior to other ships that you've researched. So at the moment we only have the Emmet class frigate, but the second that we research another type of frigate, the Emmet class will need to be mothballed. What this basically means is that the ship cannot be upgraded. These Emmet class ships cannot be upgraded any further. They can basically just be repaired, and if they go into battle against ships that are technologically superior, they will lose very quickly. So I guess it can be a good way of throwing ships in defense of something onto your enemy's lines to get rid of the ships, but mothballing them is also a good way of dealing with this issue.
Construction complete.
So what I'm going to do right now is, so what I'm also going to do is build a naval logistics center in order to increase my naval capacity here. Oh, United Federation of Planets. Our interstellar alliance has caught the public imagination. No longer is Earth an isolated backwater on the galactic stage, but a central component in a powerful block of shared values and interests. This coalition of planets protects us, but there are many who wish for further integration to better secure ourselves against hostile neighbours. Many influential politicians on coalition worlds have signaled a desire to start this process, and all that is needed is for one leader to step forth and make the proposal. So we can either say, now is not the time, so don't form the Federation at this moment, or unity is an Earth interest, and I think it is. So we're going to go for unity. The Andorian Empire has voted in favor of forming the Federation. That's always good. The Tellarite technocracy has voted in favor of forming the Federation, and the Confederacy of Surak has voted in favor of forming the Federation as well. Great, so everyone has said that they would like to make the Federation. So let's see. Some nice fanfare music there. So the event says, the delegates have all assembled in the Grand Chamber on Earth. Billions of people from each of the Coalition's homeworld watch from their homes or on enormous public displays. Federation Day. Prime Minister Rodney Reynolds steps forward, Allied counterparts in tow. Dozens of lights from audience flash and the roar of the crowd subsides until the entire hall is blanketed in silence. The leaders gather around a large book on the central podium and in turn mark their names. Today is an historic day, Prime Minister Rodney Reynolds says to gathered masses. Today is the day many of our races are joined together in peace and in the spirit of exploration and progress. Today marks the birth of a federation, the United Federation of Planets. And with that, the applause is thunderous, as you just heard in that sound. So we now change to become known as the United Federation of Planets. So it's time, it's here, it's finally happening.
Construction complete.
So with the ascension of Vulcan into the Federation, many Vulcans look to brave new worlds to experience life in the Federation. Whilst the conditions may be different from what they're used to on their homeworld, many of these pioneering Vulcans are taking the first step from their world onto our own. What should we do with those who wish to migrate? So we could say their places on Vulcan and leave them there. We could say sponsor settlement on a colony world. So what that does, it would move a population from Vulcan to one of the colony worlds, not Earth. Or we can say welcome to Earth, so we would get that population on Earth. I think I'm going to say let's say welcome to Earth. I think at this point that's fine. Again, exact same thing. So anytime you invite a new empire or a new faction into the United Federation of Planets, this action or this event will always fire. So it's the same thing for Tellar Prime. And I'm going to say welcome to Earth, and the Andorians again, welcome to Earth. And now that these, all of these places are part of the Federation, I can no longer use these declarations of war, or these reasons to declare war on them. So I'm going to say OK to all of them. And then you also have this event that fires, and this is more for your information. So developer notes. The other Federation founders are now a special class of member world vassals under your nation, which will aid your fleets in times of war. The Federation Council mechanic has now been unlocked. Once every 2 years, the Federation Council will allow players to integrate new members, reach out to neighbours diplomatically, or engage in research specialization focuses. So we shall see this in the next few minutes. So understood, that's great.
So you finally did it! You've put your ridiculously inconsequential differences aside and formed a federation with your neighbours. Kudos to you! But don't forget that a federation is for life, not just for the Lolunot. You'll notice your influence income has fallen. You don't have to be omniscient like me to realize this is a consequence of the difficulties inherent in forming a new galactic state. But don't worry. It won't last forever. Now, do I have to hold your hand with anything else here?
So we could say understood, learn more about member worlds, the Federation Council, or accession. So let's look at accession.
So you've grown bored with your current member worlds and want to bring in some fresh blood, so to say. Well, to get the ball rolling on inviting the neighbours into your federation, you'll need to start negotiations through the Federation Council. Keep in mind that you can only invite governments that are already in a coalition with you. Every other year you'll be able to commit more resources to the integration process, until eventually all that remains is the Ascension signing party.
So that's interesting. Let's look at homeworlds.
Your federation may be a state in its own right, but the homeworlds of your members are governed by their own politicians. Member worlds will organize their own local defense forces and contribute to the federal budget. They may even be able to contribute unique technologies through the Federation Council. Just don't expect to be deciding what school children eat for lunch.
Yep. And now we'll also look at the Council.
Every year your Federation Council will sit in session. Frankly, I find the whole process to be utterly boring. But to someone of lesser potential, such as yourself, the outcome may end up being very useful. The council allows you to stick your nose into your neighbours' affairs, either by inviting them into your little club, or praising or condemning their behaviour. You can also consult with your science advisors to boost your research or fund your projects from your member worlds.
Great, thank you, Q. So another interesting thing is that the traditions also can add to this federation mechanic. So for example, once you adopt the federation, you can actually set, for example, adopting this tradition, that's new civilizations, unlocks access to the unique federation policy, which enables you to set the focus of federation member worlds across the galaxy. So what this means is that you can then take specific research projects from these areas. So for example, you can get Andorian phaser technology or things like that. So what I'm going to do before unpausing is basically have a look at all the new acquisitions. Oh, before unpausing, I said, not automatically unpausing. Is look at all the new acquisitions. We can see here, for example, that interesting. Oh yes, sorry, that is Terra Nova, not Terra Prime. So we're still observing, Terra Nova. We're still observing the Anaxar, which is this primitive civilization here. And actually now I can show you what I was talking about. So here, Federation membership, diplomats from the Federation of Planets, from the United Federation of Planets, will approach this world and gradually attempt to sway the world leaders into becoming part of something greater than just one world. They will gradually sway views on the world and prepare the planet for standard Federation membership, whereupon they maintain full control over their world's day-to-day functions. This complex operation is only worthwhile on warp-capable civilizations. So basically, when I click this, it would then bring the Anaxar in as a member world like the Andoria sector or the Vulcan sector. So that's something to keep in mind. If we look at Terra Nova, they're only at the Bronze Age, and we can't actually do any kind of enlightenment or incorporating them into the Federation yet. So something else, we've seen that we now have these different factions. So for example, the independent traders are not very happy with us. They want a defensive stance, so defensive wars only, private schools and private healthcare, and also frontier traditions. The Gatalili Society wants us to look at indirect xenology. They want diplomacy and preservation traditions, as well as diversity as well. And then here, these are kind of the xenophobic individuals of our society. They want a military education, and they do not like that we form the Federation. So they will never be happy with that. So what I'm going to do, I guess first things first, let's look at the planets. Let's just work our way down. So on Earth we have 2 more building slots. So let's build... Let's build a trading center. So I think now we are making... Oh no, we have 0 latinum. Or a net zero income of latinum. So I'm not going to build a trading center because that costs latinum to maintain. But what I shall do is build... Let's build a policing system. So that way it will reduce the crime. Actually first what I will do is build a city. Because if you notice, we have 0 housing available now. So build the city first. And then let's do a historic landmark and the policing system. So it looks like there have been no changes on Mars. Let's go to Pagem. So we have a Vulcan ruler and some specialist jobs. Okay, interesting. So there's basically actually nothing we can do on Pagem right now. We need to wait for that population to actually be demoted to a specialist, which will take a long time. So nothing we can do really about that, because we can't resettle the population because we're the Federation and we do not have population control. And then looking at this last colony that we've gained, It's also basically just starting out, so there's not much we can do at the moment. Although it's good for minerals and society research. Pajem is good for nothing specifically. Mars, again, will be very good once we terraform it, and Earth at the moment also doesn't have any specific resources that it boosts just from existing. So let's look at Pajem Station. So we have a shipyard, we have an orbital museum, that's great, traffic control. I do notice that we are currently above our starbase capacity. However, I'm going to leave that because I think we will expand soon enough that we won't have a problem, and that it will then, our starbase capacity will increase to 6 as well. But what I'm going to do is change this shipyard to a naval depot, unpause the game to get the alloy, and then change it to a naval depot to increase our naval capacity. Great. Oh, and I also see that we're having a bit of problem with our trade at the moment, so it says that it's disconnected, so let's set up our trade route. You're going to go to the Sirius node, and then the Sirius node then connects to Sol. Great. Looking at these star bases, actually I could downgrade this starbase. Let me do that. I'm going to downgrade this starbase just because we're losing a lot of energy credits now. And I don't want that, and also we'll deal with food soon as well. So let's downgrade the starbase. So now we are inside our starbase capacity, and our energy credits are now at minus 38 instead of minus 60, so that's good. Pajem, again, still nothing we can do about that. So continuing on.
Construction complete.
Going back here, why don't we create, let's do naval depots. So this is the Federation Council mechanic. So what I can do is expand diplomatic outreach to neighboring worlds. That just makes them like me more. I can react to a galactic conflict. I can establish a neutral zone. I can visit the Science Council to adjust research focus. So what this does is gives us +5 to jobs, +5 output to jobs for 2 years. So basically until the next Federation mechanic in one of these areas. So physics, society, or engineering. Let's go back. We can establish a neutral zone. So that's a series of systems between you and another person. So for example, I can establish a neutral zone along the Orion border, along the Trill border, or and these will be temporarily seeded to establish the neutral zone. So but it does reduce tensions, which could be high. So let's go back. Let's react to a galactic conflict. So I want the Trill on my side. So let me investigate the Sankethi Trill administration war. I think these are the same, though. Not sure why it's showing twice. And let's condemn the Sankethi. So it's the same thing as insulting them and doing a low level diplomatic intensity outreach to Trill. So let's do that. Let's condemn the Sankethi. It also gives us 50 influence, which we can then use to build another starbase somewhere. For example, here. Once I eventually have enough alloy to actually build something. So it's interesting. There are more aliens to get to know, and new research. So our hospital research is now finished. So we can now purify water. Basically, this allows us to produce water ice, which is used for things like maintaining cities, etc. We could upgrade our research, which is, I think, what I'm going to do, or build specialist research labs. I'm going to advance our research.
An alien empire has established communications.
We have met the Ferengi, that's always good. So they're good trading partners, the Ferengi. So we can learn a lot from each other. I'm also going to, oh, so we have our new warp engine. So I'm going to geothermal power station. And the solar network, we can unlock a protein fabricator and increase consumer good production by 1%, or colony development speed plus 25. I think I'm going to do the colony development speed plus 25 at the moment, because we have several fledgling colonies.
System survey complete. Construction complete.
So I'm just taking a look at the core drazine. We're not currently producing anything, we haven't found anything, we're not getting it from anywhere. So I'm not going to be able to upgrade this hospital complex. One, because I don't have the regional capital yet, and also because I don't have the core drazine necessary either. Oh, we have another tradition. Let's do the survey speed. Yes. And let's continue on. So let's see what else pops up. So actually what I'm going to do, you are waiting for alloys, so I'm actually going to have you go over here and build the mining and research stations. Where are you? You're here. Are there any systems over here that haven't been? Yes. So you're going to go over here and build mining and research. Would it be better? Actually, let's go here and have you go over here. I guess that's just closer in the end. Oh, I'm sorry, I have the wrong ship. So you should build the mining and research stations here, and you do the ones up there. Exactly. So,
Fleet upgraded.
great. So let's look at the second fleet and upgrade it again. So we're going to hopefully receive alloys back and gain dilithium. Oh, sorry, gain alloys and use more dilithium than before. Boom. Great.
Fleet upgraded.
And if you were looking up here, we went from 63 to 165, so that's definitely helped. What I'm also going to do is upgrade eventually these science ships as well. Because it's always a good idea to keep everything as up to date as possible.
Research complete.
So looking here, we now have the colony development speed up to scratch. And let's do the nuclear electronic lab. So this will help science ships.
System survey
And looking
complete.
here, so what do we want? We can build a dilithium manufactory. The one thing is, though, that our energy credits are dropping. I do need to focus on that, so I don't really need to be building anything that consumes energy on a larger scale. And this base upkeep is 4 energy credits for 4 dilithium, which is actually not that much, especially as we're almost at our dilithium limit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the market and sell some of our dilithium so that we have a nice energy credit number, and then continue on from there. I'm just getting a little bit hoarse. Oh, let's research this anomaly. Just getting a little bit hoarse, so I'm going to take a quick drink of water. So if you hear some sipping noises, that's why. Ah, that's better. That's helped my throat a little bit. So,
System survey complete.
oh, we're meeting more people. Hopefully, if it's because it's people up here, I think. Hopefully, it will be the Saurians.
An alien
or...
empire has established communications.
or not, you know. So we've met the Sonar Command, which was from one of the Star Trek movies, Star Trek The Next Generation movies, and they're, yeah, slaving despots. So they're not necessarily somebody that we will get along with very well. But we'll see.
Complete.
And we can upgrade our ships again. So I'm going to do that, because we now have photonic torpedoes. And we can then increase the shield points by 5% and exploit the topoline resource. We can build a duranium forge. What that does is takes alloys and makes duranium plating, or duranium plates, I believe they're called. And we can import it, or the main engineering console, which allows our crew to greatly reinforce the structure of the ship's structural integrity field. Let's do that. Well, actually, the first of the... Now let's do the third one, because I don't think we have any topoline deposits anywhere within the Federation at the moment. I don't see any. So, main engineering console. As the USS Umbriel passed through the asteroid belt on its way to X758, Captain Garcia reported that the ship experienced a number of sudden gravitational shifts. Ever curious, Garcia dispatched a number of probes to scan the debris field to discern the cause. It turns out that the culprit is a number of gravity generators of old alien make, sputtering on dying energy reserves, and with their polarities inverted, they occasionally spew reverse gravity into the void, though not with enough force to cause any serious harm. Not anymore. Carlos Garcia theorizes that the generators once provided artificial gravity for a large asteroid in the belt, but some malfunction eventually tore the rock apart. That's a disturbing thought, and we get physics and engineering research from that. And there are some more aliens that we need to go say hi to, so let's do that now. Research. Oh, the Corpoline asteroid. Although it's difficult to accept, all indications point towards asteroid VTR-234 being a corpulite, a piece of fossilized feces from some kind of massive life form. It appears to be almost 1 billion years old, and much of the fossil's original organic composition has been replaced by mineral deposits. Our scientists are as baffled as to what kind of creature would have produced something like this. This adds the ancient ruins to VTR-234, which I believe means some kind of minerals, or no, society research points.
Research complete.
Interesting. So we have more research, so the nuclear electronic lab is finished. Great. And we can then choose to research pulse phase cannons, research station output, or matter fabricators, and increased alloy production. Let's go for the pulse phase cannons.
Fleet
Now that we're meeting
upgraded.
people who are not very happy that we are in the area, it might actually be good to improve our fleet capabilities. So a distress call has been detected from Tolar 1 in the Tolar system. We can either dispatch a rescue mission, which gives us a project, or we can not spare the ships and lose 50 unity. Let's dispatch a rescue mission.
Mission log updated.
And let's see exactly where it is. Tolar 1. Ah, there, okay. So, do I have any scout ships? So, you're the closest science vessel. So let's finish surveying that one planet. Perfect. And then I'm going to have you do the research project in that system. Also, at the same time, I'm then going to have you upgrade and then automatically explore again. And the second fleet needs to upgrade again. Oh, it's just the Intrepid class. A small celestial object with pronounced gaseous and particulate tails was recently observed in the Sol system. Its passing was uneventful. It is a good omen, and we gain 40 unity.
Fleet upgraded.
Great, so now our fleet has also been upgraded. So I'm hoping that soon... so you might have just noticed this menu kind of jumped, and that's because there's another fledgling colony. So that means that obviously, before we formed the Federation, I think it's the Andorians, yes, dominant species Andorian, sent out a colony ship to Epsilon Indi, or to Chasanthan, in Epsilon Indi, and created a colony there. So now we have an additional colony that we have to maintain and look after. So,
Research complete.
more research, and the Denobulan Unity declared us a rival, okay, but aren't you also a peace-loving, pacifist, xenophile, egalitarian? The Trill are pacifist, xenophile, egalitarian, and we are pacifist, xenophile, egalitarian. Apparently, I don't know, maybe it's like women when they say, oh, you're wearing the same outfit, so I have to go change. Maybe we all have the same governing ethics, so one of us needs to change. Who knows? So, Pajem, can we cannot build anything yet, or upgrade our region to a regional capital. Nope, so there's nothing we can do about this unemployment yet. Oh, we're missing society research. So we can increase our trust growth by researching the open standard translation matrix. We can research interplanetary commerce, which adds a promenade, for example, to star bases, or unlocks the starport, which is an upgrade to the current building that we have, which I keep calling a starport, but it must be something different, and an upgrade to the administration hub, which if you look, for example, on Vilat is another colony that must have been sent out at some point. So, for example, here we have an administration center. Our research, we could then make it into a hub, which could be good. Or we can increase our leader lifespan by 10 years, which is also very good. I think I'm going to go for the trust, just so that the next time we have somebody who's willing to be friends with us, we can make them friends quite quickly, and hopefully invite them to our coalition, and then snap them up and play Galactic Pac-Man.
Research complete.
Oh, so new research, we now have the main engineering console that we can add. So we can make the defensive pod and the NX shuttle pod wings. So these would go onto the NX class starship. And they act as kind of a strike class craft. There's the nuclear minefield starbase facility. By combining different catalysts, we can improve the yield of explosives substantially. This should allow for smaller, more powerful explosives to be utilized on board vessels. And increase the number of cities that we can build on a planet. Let's go for the defense pod, I guess. So if we look at the, I think the easiest is just to look at the fleet manager. So if we look at the NX, currently it does 39.24 damage, the Intrepid does 42, and the Epid does 29. So still not too much of a difference at the moment. But as I said, the Intrepid especially, we can upgrade that farther than we can the Emmet. I'm going to reinforce our navy, or the second fleet it's called, with a new Intrepid ship, Intrepid class vessel. Oh, diplomatic communication from Trill. So they now are more interested in being our friends. Good, good. So I'm going to form a non-aggression pact. And this will then increase my trust, if they accept. Yep.
Anomaly detected.
So, and research this anomaly. So we've detected a damaged ship in Perimeter 2's atmosphere. The vessel appears to be in distress. Let's research that. And hopefully we can then get the Trill on our side. And hopefully they don't lose this war too badly. I wonder. Zenkethi are considered equivalent with a superior fleet power, but could I declare war? I'm just trying to figure out where the Tellar's fleet is. So what will happen is when we declare war, the defense fleets of Vulcan, Andoria, and Tellar will also attack the Zenkethi because they've also been drawn into the war. So that could be a good way to, kind of help the Trill by, because they're currently fighting two wars. They're fighting the Zenkethi invasion of Trill and the Cardassian occupation of Trill. And judging from the fact that their fleet power is now pathetic, their fleet has been destroyed. Well, the problem is my fleet is also currently, yeah, inferior to Zenkethi. And I don't see, for example, if I go here, I don't see a defense fleet or any kind of fleet in the Tellar Prime sector. In the Andorians, again, I've seen it, but I don't see it right now. And the Vulcans, so the Vulcans have the Saleya and 8 frigates. Oh no, this is the Tellar fleet. So where is the Vulcan fleet? So if I go
A
here, for
logical
example,
request.
their fleet power is equivalent to mine, which my fleet power is not amazing, so their fleet power is not amazing.
What can the Imperial Guard do for you?
Andoria is also exactly equivalent, meaning they're also not anything
We
special.
are not impressed.
And Tellar is inferior, so means... yes, this is... So I think war is not a good idea at the moment. Let's sit back and wait. So let's expand, offer to mediate a dispute at the Trill administration with, let's say, the unidentified empire. I'm not sure who that is, but we will definitely see. So the head of the diplomatic corps has drafted a proposal for a series of summits between the Trill administration and unidentified empire to resolve their ongoing disputes and build trust between both parties. Let's approve the proposals. So the reason I'm doing this is because, one, there's currently no one to invite into a coalition, because Denobula hates us for some reason. The Zindi still aren't happy about, the fact that they tried to attack and kill us. The Ferengi are nice, but they're only at +10, and I can't actually do anything with them yet. So that basically is the Trill. The Orions definitely don't like me. And they're currently fighting with the Temerian Unity. The Iridian League, does like me, but again, there's not much I can do at the moment. And I know that the Sennar Command definitely doesn't like me. So, yeah, let's try to focus on Trill at the moment. I think definitely the Saurians and maybe the Deltans are somewhere up here, if they're major races. Yes, so both the Trill administration and the unidentified empire have accepted our offer to mediate their dispute. A conference will be scheduled on one of the two parties' homeworlds to begin the process. Understood? And it's going to be on Trill. That's great. So I'm going to research... actually, this isn't good. I still need to do the distress call. Yeah, crap. Okay. So it will get there in 308 days. We have 363. Okay, that's not bad. And then you go directly to Trill to try and mediate that dispute. Let's upgrade our ships again. Great.
Upgraded.
So this construction ship should be building mining stations and research stations. I'm not sure why it's not. Must have been, something I did.
Research complete.
Great, so we now have new phase cannons, which means of course that I need to upgrade my ships yet again. We can then research protein fabricators. Again, that uses energy, and I don't really want lots of energy being used to make 6 food. 10 energy for 6 food, not really the best trade. Anomaly Research Siege, +33. And the Stellar Cartography Lab, that looks very good for right now. Or we could unlock the Tractor Beam, which can be installed on Destroyer-class starships, and the Starbase Facility Fixed Mount Tractor Beam, which decreases hostile ship speed by 25%. Let's go for the Anomaly Research Speed. And we need new engineering, so we can exploit Magnesite, which I don't think we have any. We don't own any, and I don't think Let's just look at the Empire really quickly, or look at our holdings. We don't have magnesite there. We can unlock spatial charges or the Duranium Forge. Again, I think we're doing okay with Duranium plating, +2 per month. We aren't really using much of it at the moment. I'm going to wait for that. Let's look at spatial charges.
Construction
And
complete.
again, I'm going to upgrade my ships, because always fun. And then, after launching a shuttle to investigate, Captain Carlos Garcia and a small team from the USS Umbriel have determined that the crew of the damaged vessel have fallen victim to a neurotoxin harmless to the members of the away team, while leaving the aliens unconscious but alive. Carlos Garcia has successfully hacked into the central computer and determined that the toxin was picked up by the aliens after raiding a nearby star system. While looking to repair the ship engines in order to lift the vessel from Parima 2's gravity well, Captain Garcia was attacked by one of the aliens' vessel's crew, a female apparently unaffected by the neurotoxins. A fight ensues and Captain Garcia is injured. The alien contacts the USS Umbriel with a list of demands including repairs to the ship and substantial material compensation. She threatens to kill Captain Garcia if her demands are not met shortly. So we will respected destroy the vessel. So Carlos Garcia would die, but we would gain 100 influence. We can say that he's expendable, starve them out. So he's, again, dies, which I don't really want, and then gain 100 minerals. Or we can accept the demands, he gains 200 experience, and we lose 250 minerals and 50 influence, which I'm going to do, because we currently have 279 influence. So we have a little bit to play with at the moment. So accept the demands.
Fleet upgraded.
So fleet was upgraded, but oh look, there was one ship that was being built that missed that upgrade. So upgrade you again.
Fleet upgraded.
Boop, 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 boop. Done.
Anomaly detected.
And we have anomaly, that's great. We will research that. Our observation post above Terra Nova has detected an illegal settlement on the planet's surface. It appears to be some kind of outpost set up by human smugglers and other criminal elements from the UFP. There have already been isolated incidents where the smugglers came into contact with the primitive natives, some of which ended in violence. We need to act quickly to contain the situation and remove the criminals before they can cause any more damage. We should clear them out of there.
Mission log updated.
So we now have the smuggler base, which is in Terra Nova, which is about here. Actually, so what I'm going to do is change some of this. So let's go to the distress signal, then oh, we need transport ships, not science ships. Okay, so back as you were, go there and then mediate the dispute, and then what I'm going to do is send my armies from Mars, so embark all, and send them to raid the smuggling base. Should be enough, I think. And our world seem to be happy. We do have new research, so our trust growth is now going to increase by 10%. So now we can either, I'm going to wait for the administrative capacity. We are currently over it by 26, but this is going to take a long time to research. So either I'm going to do the Global Defense Initiative for the Militia Academy and the Division Headquarters, or the Bunker Network and ground-to-space defenses. I think I'm going to do the Militia Academy and Division Headquarters research for now. 3 months, won't take very long, and we have an insult from the Zenkethi again.
Complete.
So our constructor is now finished. So why don't you expand? Go there and grab that bit of territory for me. And you, let's have you go here, because we're still having some
complete.
energy issues, so let's try and get as much energy we have. That would be 5 energy, that would be great. For several weeks now, the UFP security has been attempting to trace a series of illegal database hacks. The intrusions seem to have one thing in common. They have all targeted locations known to store classified historical information on the eugenics war of the late 20th century, where genetically augmented humans nearly claimed total domination over the Earth. Why someone would want to dig up the ghosts of the past remains unknown. Ooh, this is interesting. So this is a series of events where the augments might actually form as a faction within the galaxy. So actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a cut in here, because this is going to be juicy. This is going to need an episode all by itself, I think. And so I'm going to put a cut in here, and the next time we will go through the augments, and I'll continue to try and expand the Federation now that we've formed. So I hope you enjoyed watching, and yeah, see you next time. Bye-bye! Thank you so much for watching another episode of Jamie Plays Games. If you're interested in seeing more videos in this series on Star Trek New Horizons Update Into the Mirror Darkly, the playlist is on your screen now. If you want to keep up with me as I play this and other games, don't hesitate to press the subscribe button. Thanks again, and see you soon.